For about the past year, I've been running every day after school. I've been spending a lot of time with my family, more than I have been in my whole life. I've been keeping really high grades, very high grades in my opinion, compared to most people, pretty much always. Not that it really matters, but I've also been getting really good sleep. Okay, now how do I do this? Is my camera up? Whatever. How do I do this? Why am I such a good person? Why am I better than you? Well, in order to understand this, you got to understand what I learned from Robert Kiyosaki. I don't know his name, but I learned it from his book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And it was the concept of paying yourself first. And this book is about investing in money, and it's about paying yourself first. Like whenever you get your paycheck, set aside a certain amount of money for yourself, and then don't pay that for rent. Don't use that for the bills. Find other ways to make money for that. I realized you could just apply that concept to time. That's what I've been doing in my life. I don't make excuses. You shouldn't make excuses for like, I don't have time to do this. I don't have time to go to the gym because I got to study. I got to do my homework. I got to do this. I got to do that. What I did is I just paid myself first in time. I did this by going to the gym right after school. Or in my case, it's running. I do cross country with my team every day after school. I run with my team. But for you, it might be something else. After you come back from work, after you come back from school, what are you going to do? For you, it might be playing the guitar. Maybe it's reading a book. What are you going to do what is that one thing that you always put aside, that you say you're too tired to do when you get home? That you're too tired to do whenever you finish some work or something? You got to pay yourself first. Maybe it means waking up in the morning, waking up in the morning and doing that first. But all these things that you pay yourself with, like for example, for me, I pay myself with sleep. I pay myself with spending time with my family. I pay myself with studying. I pay myself with time for all of these things. And if you're not paying yourself with these things, then you're not going to be rich in life in all these things. For example, you might be a really good student. You might be someone who studies all day, every day. That's like your main thing in life. Is that really what you want to do? Like, if I told you you could be the top 1% student, but you had to sacrifice your sleep, you would have a terrible relationship with your family. You would be unhappy. Would you still do it? No, you wouldn't, right? And that's because you're not paying yourself in all these different areas of your life, in your relationships, in your time with family and all that. Do you truly think the meaning of life was to get a 4.0 GPA? Do you truly think the meaning of a life was to get the most shredded physique you could possibly get? Do you truly think the meaning of life was that, to get good at guitar, to, all that? Do you truly think you will ever find the meaning of life? No, we probably won't find the meaning of life until like very late in our lives. Whatever you're doing right now, it's probably not what your core purpose is, okay? Like, I think my purpose is running, but that might not be the purpose. That might not be the purpose of my life. Now, what I just said doesn't mean you should cope and not do anything. It doesn't mean you should not go to the gym. It doesn't mean you shouldn't take your studies seriously. I run like 6 miles a day. I work out sometimes too. I work out like 3 times a week. I'm a hybrid athlete basically. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't try in your life, Like what I just said sounds black pill as hell, but it doesn't mean not to give up, okay? What instead I want you to take that as is really look at the value of life. It's not always just about one thing. It's not always just about academics. Sometimes it's just about spending time with your family. Sometimes it's just about breathing in the air and looking at the scenery around. Sometimes it's just about this, that, anything. It's not always about that one thing that really you think that matters, that your parents told you that you really need to study so you could get this 7.9 GPA and so you could go to Harvard University and make them proud. That's not the meaning of your life. The meaning of your life is to make yourself happy and find your own happiness, not fulfill someone else's.